Good morning. Welcome to Planet Mojo. Today I'm doing a video on our road share agreement with this private road right here. Our particular road share agreement states that any one of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 properties along this road, anyone who puts a driveway connecting to the road is automatically part of the road share agreement. It's written into the deed when they originally subdivided the land here. We own this property right here, which is the first one on the road, and it goes down. Oh, there's a marker right there. I'll walk over to there. But anyways, I guess we can still use the road. We don't know all the specific details of it because it's such a fuzzy agreement. Well, it's actually very technical, and I'll go through some of that with you, but I mean, we've been using it and helping maintain it before we even owned this property that is connected to the road. Our initial property, it was across the street, and since then we bought 2 properties down that way, this one and another one this way, and just this year we bought one up that way. But this property right here is the only one that is attached to this private road. And like I said before, there's 4 other properties up here. We don't necessarily need to attach to this road, but it'd be kind of nice up in there, and it's not that big of a deal to help maintain it. But there are issues with it. The way the agreement is written out, it kind of assumes that 5 people would have built hunting cabins is what they envisioned this for. When we were shown the property, the developer had decided that this was so steep along here, and same thing with the lots over that way. He had figured it was so steep that most likely just hunting shacks would be built down here, and that the 5 people that bought these lots would share the cost of maintaining the road. That did not happen. Like I said, the first person who bought along this road bought 2 lots, and they never planned on attaching to the road because they were told that if they attached to the road, they'd have to help maintain it. So they just never put anything connected to the road and never planned to. These next 2 lots remained unsold for a long time, and somebody bought the one at the very end. The one at the very end was bought first, and that person never did anything with the road. Then our neighbors here bought these 2 lots. They're like 8 acres a piece, somewhere around there, 9 acres. So, you know, it's 15, 16 acres, whatever it came to, or 17 acres. See, here is our lot line. It goes straight down this way. So, although we have, I don't know what this is probably 400 feet up to here. We have 400 feet of frontage on this road. We're not really sure what we're going to do with this, and we have really no need to put a driveway in down here. I mean, we could make our own trail right here for the horses, or, you know, whatever. But there's really no need for us to attach to this road. Like I said, it would be nice to have a little road coming in up by the shed up there, but it's not necessary. So these people plan on building down here. So that makes this kind of like their driveway. So they will be using it more than anybody else. And then there is 2 lots at the very end, and like I said, the one person has never done anything to maintain the road, and the other person who was helping pay for stuff, he sold his land to the people who own these 2 lots. So now they own 3 lots, and there's only one other person down here on this road, and he just ignores any requests to help pay for stuff. It is actually a legally binding agreement because it's attached to the sale of the property, and it travels with any future purchases. Everybody would have to get together and create change to the agreement now that it's, you know, codified in law. So, you know, we have a decision whether we want to attach to this, but if we do, the agreement says that you have voting rights based on your property ownership, your lot ownership. So what that means is the guy who does nothing at the end has 1 vote. We own 1 property along the road. We would have 1 vote, and our neighbors here would have 3 votes. So they automatically can veto us 2. So either we would have to modify the agreement so that there's 3 equal votes, because if our neighbors have like a super majority like that, they can vote to redo this in concrete. And, you know, there's nothing we could do about it because we really have no vote because we have 1 property. So therein lies the problem. The ownership is not by, or the voting rights are not by person, but it's by lots. So if you own more lots, you get more votes. So either we would have to get that modified or just not attach to it. And we don't mind doing road work. You know, we have other roads on our property, you know, that are 100% on our property. And, you know, we have equipment and they have equipment for working on roads. So, you know, like a boom sprayer, and you got to spray the weeds along the side and trim the weeds, stuff like that. So, like I said, we don't mind doing that, but you really can't get into a position where you have no vote. Here I am at the end of the road. We got a cul-de-sac here. This neighbor, who owns the majority of this area, have the 2 properties over there, and they just purchased this property, which was a guy from a different state. He used it for hunting and as a little bit of a getaway. He got married and now he's moving to a different area, so he had to get rid of it. But in addition to the road, there is, you could see the wellhead right there. They have a well share agreement here as well. The well services this property, and them down there. So you got to deal with that too if you have a shared well, which you have to do around here really, because it costs about $35,000 to drill a well. This is solid rock underneath us. I'm not sure if you can get an idea of how high up we are, but I think we're about 500 feet up right now from the hollow down here, and we're maybe 650 feet higher than the Mississippi River, which is just off that way. So drilling through solid rock, the wells around here are about 500 feet deep, and it's pretty much solid rock. It gets to be sandstone a couple hundred feet down, I believe, but still pretty expensive. But back to the road. The owner of this property here, which is pretty good size, I think it's 9 acres, runs down to the bottom of the hollow, and it ends right here, right behind his trailer. That's a camper, actually, and that's in the covenants for here, that you can't have a camper as a primary residence, but he doesn't. He uses that as just his place to come up and hang out here, even though he doesn't do that. The last time we saw him was, I think, 2 years ago, and before that he didn't come up for probably 5 years. And he owns 2 lots here, one way on the other side of the subdivision. This subdivision is, 120 acres, and we own 30 of it, and our neighbors here own, it's right around 20, I think. So the road share agreement, the technicalities to it need to be worked out, and we need to work out what we can do with this guy, because we have between our neighbors here and us, we have a majority of the lots, so we could change the agreement with having that majority and change it to agreements per landowner, and then between us and them we have 2 landowners, and we could take legal action against this person if he doesn't start paying. He owes for the water and road and stuff like that. He just never does anything. And whether we would do that or not, who knows? I don't really care. But I don't want to be in a position where, just because we have a little driveway and we use 20 feet of road to get to the driveway, that we have to maintain a road all the way back to, this is a 1/4 mile long. We don't want to have to maintain a 1/4 mile of road to use 20 feet of it. So we would definitely have to work out a whole new agreement, or not attached to the road to start with. And again, we don't mind working on the road. We've been doing it since we bought the land here. We've been doing it 14 years. We've been coming here and sawing, when trees fall on the road, we've been sawing them up and tossing them off the side, before anybody had any structures out here. Before that was here, before that was here, and before that was here. We've been maintaining this road the whole time. So it's not that big of a deal, but you just don't want somebody to have the power to legally force you to spend, you know, $6,000 resurfacing the road or something like that, when it's basically, you know, somebody else's driveway. So that's about it. This was in response to Essential Mountain Homesteading. They're thinking of building a little subdivision in northern Idaho, I believe it is. And they're wondering about different types of agreements and homeowner agreements and stuff like that. This land has covenants, and I'll read them out. I'll get the documentation and read those out in a different video. I have to wait till my wife gets back home and tell me where to find them documents. So until then, that'll do it for this video. If you like the video, please subscribe to the channel. Click on the update icon so that you receive notice when we post new videos. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.